Stretching, getting loose, or warming up should be the precursor to every workout you ever do. Folks who neglect this entirely or half-ass a stretching routine are putting themselves at unnecessary risk for injury, especially in the mid to late teen years and increasing in potential severity as we age. It prepares the body in general and the specific parts of interest on any given day at the gym to perform with better flexibility, which allows for increased working range of motion. Now, the larger your working range of motion is, the more the muscle will work and bring blood to the area of focus. This leads to more oxygenation of the muscle and more anaerobic strength. All of this starts with stretching or warming up. Now I know, every trainer tells you to stretch, and most fail to tell you why. But an area that most trainers don't or won't often discuss is that there are different types of stretching that will be beneficial to different people for different reasons. A lot of it could be a waste of your time, but much of it will be right up your alley. So listen up and learn a little bit about the different types of stretching that exist and which ones will work for you best. First, we have ballistic stretching. This is essentially bouncing any muscle into or out of a stretching position rapidly. This forces the stretched muscle to act as a spring to pull you out of a stretched position. A good example would be to stand up straight and repeatedly kick one leg as high as you can in the air and let the stretch reflex activate by pulling it back down to the ground. Now you might be thinking that stretch reflex sounds like a good thing, but the problem here is the type of stretching does not allow for the muscle to relax and settle into an effectively stretched position. This can often lead to injury. I've seen a lot of folks in the gym do this before doing squats, deadlifts, and other lower body dominant exercises, and straining and tearing hamstrings and even injuring their lower backs as a result of the immediate instability that occurs when this type of tear happens. Bottom line here, folks, unless you are a highly seasoned athlete, I really don't think this is something you want to mess around with. My advice to you right now would be avoid this kind of stretch like the freaking plague. Now up next is dynamic stretching. This is one of my two favorite ways to stretch and to loosen up. Have you ever seen someone at the gym slowly rotate his or her arm repeatedly and gradually increase the speed or range of motion? That's an example of dynamic stretching. Another one is lying on your back with both legs flat, then slowly lifting one up and letting it fall across the top of the opposing leg. Both of these are forms of dynamic stretching. Basically, what you're doing is allowing the joints, the muscle, and the connective tissue to ease into an increasing range of motion. You can apply this principle to any muscle group, and I personally find it particularly useful before leg, back, and chest workouts. It allows you to reach your maximum range of motion in a controlled manner and to keep that range of motion fluid throughout your workout. You can reference and research both dynamic stretching and active stretching in the link that's in the description section that I provided below. Now, active stretching is another easy-to-do stretching technique that effectively compels your body to stretch itself. Essentially, what you do is to put your body in a stretched position and simply hold it there. An example would be to lift your leg up from a lying position and holding it still. This allows the tension in the agonist muscle, or the one you're using to initiate the movement, to relax the antagonist muscle, or the one that's being stretched, through a process called reciprocal inhibition. This type of stretching is commonly found in yoga, but it also has wide-ranging applications in the world of strength training and bodybuilding. Next, we have static and passive stretching, which is the most common type of stretching that you'll probably see in most gyms. It's super simple and involves using a person or an apparatus to slowly stretch a muscle to a certain point and then hold it in that position for any given period of time that you're comfortable with. Now, that apparatus can be a wall, the floor, or really any object that can bear the load of your body weight. That's all it really is. The best thing is it's super easy to do and it works well. The downside is that if it is the only type of stretching you ever do, you will be able to loosen up a muscle before a workout, but your overall range of motion is unlikely to change in a positive way over time. Now, you can also try isometric stretching, which is also relatively easy to perform. The idea is relatively simple and really only involves tension or contraction of a stretched muscle. Simply manually stretch a muscle and contract it in its stretched position. You can easily grab the ball of your foot and stretch your calf, then contract the calf against the pressure without moving the muscle through any range of motion at all. This method has been shown to be more beneficial and effective than simply doing static or passive stretching. Now, I mentioned earlier that dynamic stretching is one of my two favorite ways to stretch. Another method that I prefer is called PNF, otherwise known as proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. PNF started in the early 1940s by Dr. Herman Cabot and Margaret Knopp. Originally, they were investigating ways to better treat patients with dysfunction or diseases of the neuromuscular system. The goal was to retrain nerves and muscles in patients' bodies to respond to different patterns of contractions, holds, releases, and stretches. Now, because I'm no scientist, I can't explain to you in detail the neuromuscular changes that occur while using this process, but I can say that I am very well versed in using these techniques in many of my clients and on myself. And what have I seen? I've seen dramatically increased coordination and balance in my clients. I've also used PNF to help clients permanently increase strength in muscles that have been weakened or even atrophied due to nerve damage. There really is a lot I can say about PNF, but please check out the second of the two links that I provided in the description section to see a little bit more for yourself about specific movements and illustrations of how you can use both PNF to improve your flexibility. So as with anything, exercise requires a strong foundation. And that foundation should always be a healthy range of motion and flexibility. All of these types of stretching protocols have their benefits and their drawbacks. So do some investigating and experimenting with all of them, except ballistic stretching, unless you have a death wish. This can mess you up badly. I'm not kidding, folks. I only included it here because I think it's always best to be fully informed in order to make the best decisions for yourself. Also, please visit my Facebook page at Samson Strong Personal Fitness for videos about themes of successful life practices that relate to bodybuilding and exercise in general. I hope you find this information useful in your workout routine, and please subscribe and hit the notification bell to get regular updates on new videos related directly to all things fitness, bodybuilding, exercise, and nutrition. Email me at samsonstrong4@gmail.com for fitness consultations. Now that's Samson with a P. I give discounts to teachers, firefighters, active and retired military, police officers. I think it's important to honor those who serve and protect and educate us. And as always, don't just be strong, be Samson strong.